Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I forget who said it. Was it Mark?
So can you hear us now?
It was,
Can you
I'll
hearing us, Tracy?
Yes, I can now.
I did have us
It is,
on.
it is.
and then I became
Here as well. Good,
26 or
good.
something and realized
Good.
I was just amazed how much intelligence he'd gathered over all those years
Yeah.
or something.
Yep, so true.
Yep.
So true.
Yeah, your parents are really stupid when you're a teenager and then they get smart
Then you
again.
go, yeah, and it's like, wow, they just really gained a lot of ground there.
I still remember calling my mom when I had to do my first grocery shopping trip, when I had my first, Mom, do you realize how much they're charging for American cheese, 16 slices? And she
Just laughed.
She just laughed. I didn't realize
Funny,
groceries were this expensive and just
I was
laughing
gonna say,
again.
when we talk to them about really eating ramen noodles and that kind of stuff, they just look at us like we're, two-headed Martians. or something.
yeah.
And they-
Well, I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a son that said to me, Mom, I never realized how expensive marriage was. I said, yes, it is, Chris.
Very expensive.
Very
Very
expensive.
Oh.
Is everybody ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had not heard from Harold, so that's, he may join later. or-
Very nice tonight.
Okay.
It's gonna be here too.
Okay.
No Harold.
Call to order, no Harold.
Not at this point. I'm gonna keep watching to see if he enters the.
Mark's here. Kathleen,
Here.
Barb,
Here,
Sue,
yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Karen.
Yes. Any public participation?
Nobody's here.
No, but we are on, being broadcast on YouTube Live, so there might be some public who's watching, even if they can't.
Participate, yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
All righty. Number 3, we'll need approval of the minutes for the May 2022 regular board meeting.
I move we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
I could second, but since I wasn't here, I wouldn't be approving.
Mark,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
and Kathleen.
Yes,
Okay, on to correspondence.
Okay, not a lot this month, but we'll start out as usual, the Public Library Fund. And it continues to exceed original estimates, just about 6% over estimates for June. And we brought in just under $87,000. I believe at the end of last month, I looked at what we had anticipated getting in and did some calculations. And I think I came up with, if we brought in 60,000 a month for the rest of the year, we would more than meet our goals. So we're still doing really, really well, which is good. I did receive a thank you note from the 4-H committee because I participated in their workforce, a workforce contest. It was the first year that they did this, and they had ages 7 or 8 up to 18. Actually practice what it would be like to look at a job description and apply for a job, and they had to create resumes, and they did them age-based. Younger kids didn't have to do formal things, but it was really neat to help coach these kids after actually doing the mock interview, to give them feedback and to help them learn what it was really like. So that was a neat event. And then as far as Ohio Library Council, I believe we did talk last month because it had just been actually passed by the Senate, I believe, that the gun law about concealed carry. But just a reminder, that does not impact libraries. The rules are still the same. That doesn't matter if they have a permit or not. They still cannot conceal carry in the library. And then, yes, this is the last official regular meeting of the Brown County Public Library where that extension of the Open Meetings Act allowed, yeah, Tracy to be able to do what she's doing from afar. And my hope is that they continue to consider changing the regulations for long-term that will allow this kind of participation, so that I really think it's great for all kinds of reasons. But I have, when I had the opportunity to talk with Representative Byrd, it was something I made sure that he knew about how important this has been and could continue to be. So.
And it's the future.
And it is the future. Absolutely it is. And I do understand, the whole open meetings and being able to let the public participate. But I also think that particularly when you have small areas where people are doing all kinds of other things and gee, I'm going to be out of town, but I could be available and contribute if allowed to participate that way. So that's we're not going to let them forget that's something that's really important to us. And then just a couple of other notes. Ohio Library Council did make sure to indicate that the state is going to have a large surplus at the end of the fiscal year because their fiscal year ends the end of June. So I would hope that they might be prudent and just let that money sit there for a while, not knowing what the economy is going to turn into later. But you never know. And then the Newbery Medal, which is, for the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children each year, that turns 100 this year. So that's a big deal that award has been going on that long.
100 years, yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. I had a quick thought.
Yeah.
Because we have some really heated topics right now in our country, as we all know. So, and firearms, guns.
Mental health,
And mental health.
that's almost more important than the guns, I think, but.
Well, but the reason I'm bringing this up is, Lynn, we have a state regulation. Is that what it would be, where guns are not allowed in the library?
It is a law that, yes, about no concealed carry in the library. Well, your board can choose to make that a policy that allows that to be the case. Yes.
Do you think that we should consider a sign on the front door, or that front area that says no firearms allowed inside?
Yes.
Do we?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not. All buildings do?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I've not seen it, but
Yeah,
I like
there's
that.
there's something that I think it was actually developed by the state that gave the correct link
Okay.
reference and all of that, but basically it says, don't do it.
No,
Okay, good. So from a liability standpoint, that's
Yes.
huge. I
Now,
just
it's not
wanted to make sure.
gonna, you remember, this is not gonna stop any criminals who choose to.
Oh, yeah.
flout the
No,
law.
but I'm
But yes.
we have to make sure that
Absolutely.
we're protected, because if something happened and we say, well, it's a state right, that's,
Yeah.
the public have to be
It was-
made aware of that.
Quite a few years ago that this first came up, and I believe at that time we went ahead and
Okay,
adopted
good.
the policy for it and made the postings.
Okay, all right, thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
On to Miss Sarah, the financial report.
Okey dokey. Appropriation summary report. Under general, 1,000 salaries for the month of May, 57,824. That's down about $240 from April. Employee friend benefits, 14,280. That's down about 1,700. I think that's because we've lost some employees. Purchased and contract services, 8,789. That's down about $10,000 from April. Library materials and information, and then supplies, 34,317 and $1,131. That's up about $9,293. So overall, April compared to May, for the general, we're up about $6,400.
Kind of makes sense though, in terms of getting ready for summer reading
Yeah,
programs.
oh yeah,
and
buying more
extra
supplies.
expenditures.
Oh, yeah, I've done a lot of POs.
Yeah.
The month-to-date expenditures for all funds was $215,700. That's up about $99,585. And the Georgetown reno is where all that is sitting, because we have about $83,000 in POs for the Georgetown renovation fund. Bank reconciliation report, receipts for the month of May was $115,490. Payments, $221,209. I made $5,069 in adjustments. Most of my receipts came from PLF. We had a check from the Fayetteville Friends towards the shed. And then we had a few nice donations for the summer reading program. Outstanding payments, I currently just have one outstanding payment in the amount of $150, and that's check number 25071 for the Treasurer State of Ohio.
Is that elevator inspection?
That,
or
yes,
something?
and actually, I had a voicemail from the woman and said that we shorted her $150. So she's mailing that check back so we can send the rest. So the elevator company did an inspection at Georgetown and it failed. So they charged us $150. And then we got another invoice for $300, and we were hoping that it was just a timing
Both
thing.
of them, yeah.
So we sent $150. Well, they want $154.
So whose fault was it that we failed the inspection?
Not mine.
Well,
Correct. No, I mean,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
I mean, why are we
obviously.
paying for,
Because this is the way it works.
Okay, Brown County
We
corruption.
almost always, well, there's often something where we get a violation notice, like the inspector comes 2 days before the inspection time, and whatever hasn't been updated by the, I don't know, the company that comes and does the, inspections and the work hasn't come yet, but the state's inspector comes a couple of weeks before the time
It's like
period
the health
runs out.
department.
So you get this, well, you don't have what, and it's always something different. Sometimes it's because you didn't put the actual copy in the elevator about whatever is, the certificate. And then in other years, they've said, you don't need to have that. You just need to have something that says certificate on file in the office, So who's inspecting it? When do they come around to do it? But this time, a lot of it was related to the fact that our elevator had been pretty much destroyed by the water. And so in the course of having to not just repair it, but to do code upgrades, there were some things that the inspector wanted them to do differently or additionally. So they had to do the work, and then the inspector came back and inspected, and so we got charged again for the inspection.
And she's mailing my check back, so I can send her another one. So
That's
I'm
the
gonna
way
send-
that works.
I'm gonna send two, I already know. I'm gonna send back the other one and then do another one. I'll show them.
That's not passive aggressive at all. Sarah.
no,
That's where I'm at in my life. The general fund cash flow summary, if you look under the column that says actual May, the public library fund for the month of May was $113,455.72. Some other receipts that we brought in the amount of $1,594. Like I mentioned, those were $1,000 towards the Fayetteville shed, and then some donations for the summer reading program. Total general fund revenue was $115,050.44. General fund expenditures, salaries $57,824, benefits $14,280, library materials and other services $35,449, other operating expenditures $8,789. Grand total for that was $116,343. Cash balance $952,769. Cash summary by fund. Total May expenditures $215,700. Spreadsheet for the May 2022. Let's see. Payment listing, I made $145,111. That's a mouthful. The May 13th payroll was $28,933. The May 27th payroll was $29,237. The board share retirement was $7,825. Medicare board, $812. Health insurance, $5,702. Local taxes, you can see those listed. For the total expenditures for May, $215,700. Payment listings, I went ahead and highlighted some big dollar amounts. You'll see check number 25058, library design, $28,978. These are why my payment for the month of May were so high. Tri-State elevator, $10,600. Another library design for $19,718. A Baker Taylor for $8,791, and then another library design for $11,996. So we paid a lot. We paid a lot of stuff in the month of May. Last report, fund summary. I currently have $275,569 open in POs. You'll notice Georgetown renovation, I have $127,995 at the end of May, just alone in POs for the Georgetown reno. I still have one 2021 PO open for library design in the amount of $11,325. So,
And that's the planning.
yes,
Part of, that was before the water damage. It was the planning
Yeah.
that we were going through.
are we gonna get an invoice for that?
That's kind of been on hold as we've dealt with the, specifically the.
Questions?
Anybody? Excellent job, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I need a motion to accept the financial investment reports, approve paid bills, and accept donations.
Second.
Mark,
Yes.
Karen, Tracy,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
and Catherine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, on to the executive director's report, starting with building report and statistics.
Yeah, so you have the building reports in front of you, or you've got them in your packets, I guess is a better way to say that. Lots of gearing up in May for summer reading program things, and also some commentary about some trainings that went on, and some US grant activities. I don't know if there's anything that jumped out at anyone, or if either of the managers who are with us tonight want to point out something that was very special about what they did, since you've got them here.
I had a couple of questions for Heather. No, I'm kidding. No, everything looks good. Anybody have any questions? Anything for the managers? And Tanya's here.
Tanya's not unmuting, so I'm gonna assume she doesn't have anything to say about this.
I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, Mark, there was a beautiful flyer on the front door about a field trip. It was in here. I met with
saw that.
Brown County Educational Service Center and Joe Phelps from Green Acres. And we get to do another field trip this year, and the parents are really excited. We started talking yesterday about it and signing people up. So no phones are allowed. The kids have to be completely unplugged, but it's only for a few hours, but I think it'll be good.
That's excellent. It
Are
should
you-
for
are you-
longer than that.
I know.
Is an ambulance gonna follow the group? Just in case there's a,
I know,
Mental
right?
health ambulance.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a meltdown. Oh, where are they going?
Green Acres Farm, it's like up around
Ambersville,
Felicity.
technically.
It's around Petersburg.
Oh,
Around
okay,
Petersburg.
okay, yeah.
So they're gonna do like a big team building exercise first when they get there, and then they're gonna break off and explore in like groups of around 10. So I think it'll be nice.
Fantastic.
and how many are we expecting?
We're, we have a bus that only holds 40.
Wow.
It's like a school bus. I guess.
But
Okay.
there's going to be a bus that's going to be leading
From each branch,
From each
yeah.
library
Yeah, from
branch.
each place.
So 40 from each branch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility we'll get to fill all of them?
Oh, definitely. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have a problem filling those.
So if you have any connections with kids you think need some experience like that, please have them call, send them here so we can.
How old can they be?
They're trying to get kindergarten through sixth grade.
Oh, I was thinking my
Yeah.
22-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, they have that too.
Don't throw them in the
Oh, that'll be wild. Oh.
No, that sounds great.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome. And a year ago, we were still in COVID.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everybody's excited.
And the statistics, as far as those, unless you've got anything more about the building reports that you want to know about, I don't want to cut the manager short.
But
So
she's smiling.
she is, well, she's smiling in her photo, that's right. So as far as statistics go, May is kind of one of those typically unremarkable months, but next month you are going to see the beginning of summer reading program. And you can kind of see a little bit of that in terms of the number of library card registrations. You'll see a little bit of that filtering in because a number of the branches did some visits with schools or other organizations to what'd you call it? SRP hype?
It's a hype session.
Hype session.
With our inflatable shark costume.
Yeah. Yes, but if you haven't, lurked on our Facebook page, you should really go and look for those shark pictures. I mean, it's just,
I think there's one in there in their packet.
it could be, yes.
Yeah.
And then just a little bit of a note, you may have noticed that Sardinia had a few more curbside than normal, even though our summer feeding program, well, it was the school year feeding program that came to an end, and we're not doing the summer feeding program through the same organization. And so normally those made the curbside numbers high, but we had a little bit of a COVID contact. And so we had only enough staff to run curbside for a day or two. So that's just one of those things that it may not be as frequent, but it's still going to happen. And then next month, in next month's report, you'll get through June, which is the end of a quarter. And so we'll give you full detailed statistics about a lot of other things. And a lot of that will include busy summer reading program stuff.
Okay, thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
On to announcements.
Okay. Announcements. So I did send along, and I do have some paper copies. If anybody wants any paper copies of any of these documents, I can give you the announcements and such. But there were a number of facilities issues, and a lot of them actually happened in the last week and a half or so. But the storage shed, I am pleased to announce that Amber updated me today, and it's to be delivered on Friday. So Fayetteville's storage shed is going to be ready very soon, and we had planned Spectrum internet outages, but they ended up being on a different day than they told us they were going to be. But basically, we had to have some device upgrades in two of our buildings. So far, so good, and all of our buildings are talking to each other. But when they told me they were changing the frequencies of the fiber optic, and they had to put devices into the boxes that are in Georgetown and Sardinia, I said, well, so our Mount Orab and Fayetteville branches also go directly through Georgetown. Does that mean they're not going to talk to each other anymore? But so far everything's been good. So I guess that's all right. But the not so great news is that, Tanya, you're going to have to jump in here because I don't even remember dates. It was this right after the tornado that water was discovered in the Georgetown Library's lower level.
That's true.
Oh,
I don't want to say it.
I know.
Yes, it was just the other day, and it was brought to my attention, hey, there's some water over on the other side. And I was like, no. So it was when Rumpke was there. So, and that would have been Monday. Yes, Monday. So I went over there and we had this to a small degree once before. Lynn, was that like a year ago?
I
Last
think so.
year?
Yes.
Last spring?
Yes.
And it dried it out. We put the fans on it, dehumidifier and everything, and didn't have any more problem. But there was water down there a few months ago, and we thought that maybe something was leaking in the bathroom, but now I'm not so sure. I'm thinking it was all part of this problem. We just didn't know what was going on at the time. So it looks to be leaking around the foundation on the west facing wall.
Great.
And yeah, and that's not going to be covered by insurance.
Exactly. Well, so it had happened, and I honestly, it happened sometime far in the past as well. We had some water there. It had been indicated to us that there were gutter stop up issues. And so if you had enough water all at once, and then it would go and you would get some leakage, which kind of made sense because it didn't really, it was like.
You're saying the water came from up here as
Well,
opposed to the ground level?
and I don't know. I mean, Tanya, you might be able to describe physically better where the gutters are, but they're actually, in the Georgetown building before we did the 1997-98 renovations, there was actually an internal water way that was changed and rerouted. And so I think that was about, well, of course I came in 97, so it had to have happened after that. So it was thought that maybe there was some problem with the way, did pipes not fit, you know what I mean? It just something with the way the water was going, but it's pretty clear. And it was good that Rumpke Restoration was there at the time and doing more of their restoration process, part of the of fixing the water pipe damage. And they determined that it actually was, the water was from foundation, coming in through foundation. So they were good enough to give us some names, and Tanya, through some other connections, has gotten some other names. She's made 2 appointments next week for foundation/basement specialists to come and look at that. I mean, it's 100 years old. It's 100. That's the part of the building that's got the problems. The 100-year-old part.
It doesn't matter if it's 10 years or basements are the bane of human existence.
Yeah.
They just are.
So, it was very discouraging to have that stopping the process. It was also good to have it stopping the process because we don't want to put brand new carpet and furniture and other things in there if this is going to become a worse problem and a recurrent problem. So
Yeah, and then our tree might grow.
well,
It would shoot up right into the law library. I can't get off the tree, I'm sorry.
Wouldn't be.
You keep talking about the tree.
Thank you.
Well, and so, while there's only water coming in that, the west wall, which is, if you're thinking about law library,
Yeah.
it's that end of
right.
downstairs, right, the same wall where the bathrooms are. But it's only the old building. It's not, either the other parts of it. So that's good. But, I will want them to check out the entire perimeter of the old building because we've got that, I guess, south wall, that could potentially have the same problem because it's the same age. And the west or the east wall is really mostly winded. There's concrete above it. So I don't know what they can, how much they're going to be able to see, but we'll have to look at all of that. And so
More fun.
more funds is where,
there it is.
is where I was going with
But,
this. It's going to be costly. Yeah, it's not part of the water damage. So it's not going to be something that's covered by insurance. It's just part of an old building that you're going to have to fix up. And so be prepared that we're going to be looking for money to fix whatever fix needs to be done. And I don't know how much that's gonna be, you know,
A couple hundred won't
thousand.
big to break. I know.
Yeah.
Couple $100,000.
Couple $100,000.
Won't be that.
So Tanya, I kind of stole your thunder, but you know, what else do that you think that they need to know about that I didn't communicate?
Nothing, you pretty much covered everything. I was just gonna say the basement authority will be there on Monday and the basement doctor will be there on Wednesday. And both of them have sent documents to me, which I forwarded to Lynn, that went through the entire process. Both of these companies so far, I'm very impressed with. They very upfront about what to expect, what's gonna happen during the inspection. They're gonna go through the whole building. So it's going to be a couple hours for each of them, and go through all of the options. They'll give me all of that in writing, and I will have the estimates for those options that day. So I'll have all of that to give to you to go over and make a decision about.
So for the rest of the putting the lower level back together, obviously that slows down our progress. But Tanya has already been in contact with library design, and because the teen area and the offices in the lower level are not impacted by the foundation, we can go ahead and get that part done. So at least we can have a couple of staff members be spread out, you know, working in another area and have the teen section opened up while we're waiting to see, you know, what needs to be done for the other part of the building.
This will also greatly aid in our summer reading program, because right now we have nowhere to have some of our programs that are going to pull a little bit larger crowd. We have no meeting room or anything. So I've kind of been really sweating it the last week, trying to figure out how we were going to make this work. So if I can get that teen area done, that's one whole large room that only has one piece of furniture in there that we can move over out of the way. And I have a whole room to have those programs.
Hey, Tanya, did you,
Yes.
So both of them have already been out?
No, they come out
Oh,
Wednesday and Monday.
May I suggest when each of them come out, ask them when they would be able to start?
Yes.
Okay, you know, early start date, and I would also ask for an anticipation or an anticipated completion date.
Yes.
You know, because that becomes important. And then
Mhm.
if this is a priority, if you need me to review
Something.
both those invoices, I can do that, and I'm offering to do that if you want to just email or text me.
Okay.
So,
I'm making a note of that.
no,
Right.
no, I'm offering, I'm offering. I've seen a few of those in my days.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's,
as you can imagine.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that's it. That's enough for, but yeah, we did have a tornado go through Sardinia, and it was right after the building closed, and a couple staff members got far enough away just to decide they needed to turn back around and go back to the building to shelter through it. So, but everybody's safe, building's good. And the tree that was down around near the creek that we thought possibly was our tree, and I was gonna have to look through property maps to, the village of Sardinia showed up today and was taking care of the dry tree. So we have nothing but maybe some, you know, some ruts in the grass right down by the creek. So that's good. Other things, down in number 3 on announcements, Millicron has stepped up and pledged $1,000 for Mount Orb Library's summer reading program, and they're going to actually send people to assist. And you've kind of turned that event into a STEAM event, is that right? Yes. So, which makes sense because that's Millicron's thing, right? And then I got a call recently from a library patron who was told that by her financial planner that she needed to take some money out of her IRA, take some distributions, and she wanted to make some charitable donations so that there were no tax implications. And so we had a nice little conversation, and it ended with, well, this might take a little time, but I've got all the paperwork, so I'm sending it in. So I don't know what that means,
Yeah.
but it would be for the Fayetteville Library because that was the donors request. So excited about that potential. Other things, another one of those, I mean, really, pardon, I'm not a language person, but it's been a couple of weeks from hell, quite honestly. It really has.
Yeah.
Google security updates have created havoc all around our library system. They knocked out our ability to do scanning and emailing, and then we were going to get charged for our vendor to fix those things for us. And so it took a lot of phone calls and by a lot of people. I mean, it wasn't just me, but so that was just one of the things that happened. And then number 6 on the list, just so you know, since we changed the policy very recently, for the mileage rate, the feds have announced that July 1, they're upping theirs by 4 cents per mile. So just so you know. And the rest of it, it's all good stuff. And I sent along so you can read it. But, I don't think that there's anything else particularly that I have to say. If nobody's got any questions.
Anybody? Nope. Thank you, Lynn. How about committee reports? Anything on committee reports? Nope. Okay, thank you. Number 6, the Ohio Plan renewal.
Follow up. Yes. So Mark, as last month, you had, the board had approved, contingent upon you reviewing the deck pages and all of that, which you did. And I just, for your information, put those into your packets. And the $9,487 premium was up 2.2% from last year. So whether our claims haven't made any difference in this year.
I'm going to say not yet.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, is that next year we might actually see some of that, but actually our coverage has expanded a little bit because our property values went up some, contents went up some, and also I think that our cybersecurity coverage also was increased. So we have more coverage. So really, you kind of look at it and you go, there really wasn't much an increase.
It's a wash.
Yeah, exactly. So just so you know, that's how that all turned out.
Okay, number 7, motion to approve the purchase, configuration, installation of network servers through Forward Edge not to exceed $28,000.
Yes.
I need a motion. Unless people have questions.
Unfortunately, this is one of those things that is not covered by E-rate. They do not cover, that program does not cover servers. So this is entirely something we have to pay for, but it is something that we also planned for. And that's why we, when we did the appropriations and said that we would be transferring money over into the technology fund, some of the reason that I asked for $50,000 to be transferred over was because I knew that this was going to be coming. And this is the servers are not at end of life yet, but they're getting there, and you don't want them to end their lives before you change them out.
Exactly.
So that's why we're doing this now. And
It's like
also,
waiting for your heart to fail before you get on the transplant list.
Not a good,
So that's it. And also Forward Edge, they've still got summer there. They do a lot of service for schools. And so being able to do this during the summer before they're really intensely into school opening up, it would be very helpful.
I move.
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Tracy, Yes. Sue,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
and Kathleen.
Yes.
We need a motion to approve the disposal of property related to the Georgetown water damage. And we have quite a list here.
We have quite a list. Well, and you know, you can see that some of it we lumped together, you know, crafting supplies and that kind of thing, you know, we had tons of stuff, and so we weren't gonna list.
Yeah.
And
We
there's-
had 1,003 pipe cleaners and, you know, you can't.
And
you
no,
can't
no
go there.
salvage opportunities here?
There are a number of things that were salvaged. So
Okay.
this is only the stuff that actually has to be.
Okay,
Go on. Make a motion
okay.
to discard.
I'll second.
Even stuff.
Mark,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
I need a motion to enter executive session to consider the employment of public employees.
We have that. Printed if you
Oh,
want.
yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
now.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. All right, I'm gonna add a motion. So I need. Do you have this here? I thought you were on this. Oh, wait,
That
I have
one, yeah,
the wrong one,
you've got the
sorry.
cover sheet, yeah, you've got the cover sheet there.
I need a motion to approve contract with the state Library of Ohio for statewide delivery services for the period of 7/1/22, 6/30/23, price per stop, $47.77. Total annual contract fee, including a 10% credit from state ARPA funding, $20,121.14. Should I go ahead and read the rest?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I move we approve.
I'll second.
Tracy says, I gotta get in there.
Mark,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Tracy. Yes. Sue,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
and Kathleen.
Yes.
And just FYI, hold on to your hats, that was a 40% increase over the last. Think about.
Think about the price of
gas
gas.
prices.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that priority is now dedicated to libraries. When we were with other companies, they did delivery to all kinds of entities, but they're just doing libraries.
Yeah.
And this time, last time the state did about a 30% contribution, so the discount is less this time. So that all adds up to 40% more that we're paying in total. So, yeah. Thank you.
So we're in executive session.
So did you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Now we have to go into executive.
I
Okay.
move we go in executive session to consider the employment of public employees. Plug for some.
Barb.
Plug for that.
Oh, I'll second.
Thank you.
Mark,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Tracy. Yes. Sue,
Well, I think
Yes.
it looks gorgeous.
Barb,
Yes.
and Kathleen.
Yes.
we are.
Don't
forget to stop your live stream, Lynn.
Yes, thank you very much. And
Hey
I-
Tracy, your hair looks beautiful. So
Thank
pretty.
you.
It's gotten so long.
It has gotten long.
It has been long, yeah.
Marina.
Guys,